What's up everyone, this is Mark with LiveTunes, and I want to show you one of my favorite new features in LiveTunes 4.0, the 3D Spatializer. I love this feature because it gives you a whole new level of control over how your music feels in the venue. The easiest way to think about 3D is EQ changes the tone, but 3D changes the space. So instead of changing the song itself, 3D changes how the music feels around you. It can make the track feel wider, deeper, closer, farther away, and more naturally blended into the venue. So if you like customizing your sound, this is where things get really fun. And combined with the LiveTunes equalizer too, you can really dial in some amazing sonic results where if you close your eyes, you could swear you were in the venue with the artist. So let's go through these sliders real quick. Starting here over on the left is we've got width. So let me show you here. Width controls how spread out the stereo image feels. So if I bring this up, the mix feels wider and more open. If I bring it down, it feels tighter and more centered. Next up is depth. Depth changes the front to back feeling of the mix. More depth can make things feel more layered and immersive. Less depth feels more direct and upfront. Then there's Crossfeed, and honestly, this is one of my favorite controls in the whole section. Crossfeed helps blend the left and right channels a little more naturally. That can make the stereo image feel less sharply separated and more cohesive. To me, this is one of the settings that can really make the sound feel more realistic, especially with vocals. On smaller venues in particular, I love pushing this up because it can make everything feel more intimate and more like you're actually there. Next up is venue glue. So this helps the track kind of sit inside the venue more naturally. It makes the music and the space feel more connected. So instead of sounding like the song and the venue are two separate things, it starts to feel like one performance. Then down under here, we have the reverb section. So it starts with Reverb Depth. So you can see these presets here, the stage, soundboard, and rear. This changes how near or far the performance feels. So you can move closer to the stage, or you can just sit more around the soundboard area, or push further back, kind of like back in the room. You know, imagine yourself moving from like the front of the stage all the way to like, you know, the back of like the stadium or the arena or the club or the bar. You can really kind of feel like that. It just adds a little bit more reverb to the mix, and you can kind of really feel yourself starting to pull backwards, which can be a really cool effect when you need it. And then below there is Reverb Width. So this here, you just kind of drag this little knob around. This essentially is controlling how wide the ambient space feels around the music. So this is important because it's very different from the width control we were talking about earlier up top. That width controls the kind of the effect on the overall mix, where Reverb Width controls it affects the spaciousness of the reverb itself. So these are two completely different things, and when you start playing around with both together, that's where you can really dial in your own sound. So that's really what 3D is about. It's about customization, not just for taste, but for the venue, the song, the speakers you're listening on, or the headphones you're using. Some settings sound amazing in one situation and a little too much in another. So this gives you the flexibility to find what feels right. Now, obviously, the best way to show you this is to let you hear it. So let's try this out. Right now the presets are flat, but let's load up a song here. So I'm gonna go start with I've got a song loaded here in the Shibuya Indie Rock Club, one of my favorite go-tos for a good club venue when you need it. So let's get this started. All right. So I'm gonna start with width, so you can kind of hear how the mix opens up. All right, I'm gonna take a second and stop talking so you guys can actually hear this. Highly recommend wearing headphones for this video. it will allow you to really hear the difference. So if you don't have headphones on right now, put them on. All right, here we go, guys. So we're gonna start with width. I'm gonna slowly push it up, and you should start to hear the mix spread out. Pull it down again. All right, so that's width. Next, I'm gonna go to depth. So listen closely. All right, let me bring this up a little bit, and I'm gonna show you guys Crossfeed again, my favorite. So what I want you to listen for this time is I want you to listen to the vocal and listen to the snare, and you're gonna feel them kind of come forward. So check this out. I'll take it up, I'll take it down. And then Benny Blue is the last one. Alright, so yeah, that glue is kind of that final touch that kind of helps everything kind of lock into the room a little bit better. So anyway, if you guys want a really good place to start, I highly recommend probably the immersive preset. Work yourself out from there. Let's switch this up so I can actually show you another song here. So let's go back to my set list and choose another preset. Let's try a smaller venue. Let's go to the back room. Do a quieter song. All right. This is a smaller, more intimate venue. Again, let me flatten this out. This time, let's play around a little bit more with the reverb depth. So I'm going to take you from the stage, soundboard, and rear. I'll jump from rear to stage. That's with an arrow, standard. So you can hear the difference the reverb's making there. Just kind of moving you closer to the performance versus away, obviously. Let's crank this up, guys, with some metal. I'm gonna switch this venue out to, let's see, let's jump into the Headbangers Ballroom, and we will show you some more 3D stuff here. All right, this is one of my favorite venues. All right, so up top, I'm gonna push the width. Hear that? Yep. And we're gluing it in, and I want you to hear this crossfeed. Hear that? Pretty cool. Back. And up again. So, now let's hear this with it off and on. So I'm going to turn it off. Turn it off. And back on. Pretty cool. And again, you just got to play around with these. For the presets, focused is kind of like, it's a more subtle approach to 3D, so you can hear it, it's just enough without kind of overdoing it. Immersive, my favorite, pushes that up just a little bit more. And then surround's kind of in a more extreme version. Really wide mix, which works great. Like sometimes you can just crank surround, crank up the width, crank up rear, and you're like basically like standing by the door, you know, of the venue. But if you want to get closer to the stage, I highly recommend just kind of playing with crossfeed, reduce that reverb a little bit, get up closer, and you can get some really great results. So I really hope you guys Love playing around with the 3D Spatializer. It was one of my favorite new features to add, and I think this makes such a killer difference. So I hope you enjoy it, and I will catch you guys on the next video.